Gentlemen, start your engines.
Welcome to the 3.5. I'm Seth Sharp, alongside of my brother, Sutton Sharp. Today we're going to be reviewing the 1987 Miller High Life 400 from Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway in 3.5 minutes. The Winston Cup Series finally arrived in Richmond after a winter storm postponed the race from its original date as the second race of the season to the third. Alan Kulwicki, on the heels of a 15th and a 25th place finish over the first two races of the season, was the early story of the weekend at Richmond. The team loaded up the car and left for Richmond at 11 p.m. on Thursday night, arriving just in time for first practice on Friday morning. The teamwork clearly paid off as Kulwicki put his number 7 Xerox Ford on the pole for the first time in his Winston Cup career. Harry Gant qualified second, while Dale Earnhardt recovered from a tough start to the weekend and qualified third. Earnhardt's throttle stuck in turn 1 during practice on Friday, sending him hard into the wall and knocking off the front end in the process. Richard Childress Racing brought 3 extra crew members, led by Cecil Gordon, to fix the battered car. 32 drivers made the field for the event, while 6 drivers, headlined by Lake Speed, failed to qualify. Speed stayed at the track after failing to qualify for the race, spending the race in the broadcast booth alongside of Ken Squire. Alan Kulwicki jumped out to an early lead, pacing the field for the first 65 laps. Harry Gant took the lead on lap 66 and proceeded to lead the next 35 laps before the first caution came out for a spinning Eddie Bierschwale. Bierschwale was surprisingly the only car involved in the spin, despite his number 67 sitting idle in the middle of the thin 40-foot front stretch. The race resumed with Bobby Allison in the lead, who was in front of Harry Gant and Dale Earnhardt. The hard battle did not last long, as contact between Gant and Earnhardt sent Gant around and into the wall. A few laps later, a multi-car incident brought out the third caution in under 30 laps. Bobby Allison, Richard Petty, and Benny Parsons were among those involved in the crash, which also ended the day for the number 26 of Morgan Shepherd. During that caution period, the broadcast aired an exclusive interview with Tim Richmond, who was still unable to compete. The illness seemed to act as a silver lining for Richmond, who said it put things into perspective for him.
You know, I spent more time figuring out how to get away from him than I did how to be close to him. And now I'm going to take the important things and I'm going to take time for myself and my family and do what I think's right.
Richmond was still aiming to come back to the Winston Cup Series as soon as he felt he could handle it.
I'm not making a comeback to make a comeback. I'm making a comeback to win.
Earnhardt looked to be the strongest car in the field yet again, holding off a hard-charging Bill Elliott midway through the race. Elliott was still looking for his first career short-track victory. Elliott would have to wait for that elusive victory, as Dale Earnhardt led 222 of the final 232 laps on his way to his second straight Winston Cup victory. Jeff Bodine finished second, while Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, and Terry Labonte rounded out the top 5. As for the point standings, Earnhardt moved into first place, 20 points ahead of Bill Elliott. Schrader was much of a surprise near the top of the standings after finishing 16th in points in both of his first 2 Winston Cup seasons. Tune in next week as we recap the 1987 Motorcraft Quality Parts 500 from Atlanta International Raceway.